back to the Gilded Troll. Fuck off! Welcome to Last Call. This is where we sit around, drink, and talk about our past campaigns. Cheers. I hope everyone's okay
Cheers.
out there and all that stuff that streamers say at the beginning of every stream now. We hope you're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Come talk with us. Drink a lot if you have alcohol in your house. I hope you do. You can buy it online, too. That's a thing you can do now.
I love how Luke is drinking Corona.
Yeah, man.
Are the prices of Corona actually down yet, though?
No.
Why?
Asinine.
They're running out of cases, though.
They
But
closed down.
They closed down the brewery because like Mexico's getting hit pretty hard.
Yeah. This week we're going to talk about Curse of Strahd. Last week we talked about TOA. The week before that we talked about Dragon Ball Spirit Peak. So if you want to watch those, they're on YouTube and they're on Twitch for how many days?
60.
60.
We're also going to be joined by the other player who was with us in Curse of Strahd. He's running late, so he'll be here soon. Oh, I should probably send him the Zoom link so he can just join when he's ready.
How's everyone doing? Oh, you did put the pictures up. Oh, why are we dropping frames already?
Yes, we're dropping 2.5% of frames.
Damn. Okay.
That's a good amount.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. As long as we stay over 50%, like...
It won't look that weird.
No, that's not how drop frames work.
Alright, I guess we'll start. When did TOA come out? When did Curse of Strahd come out, Ian?
Oh dear God, I don't know. It's season 4, I know that much. It came out after Out of the Abyss and before Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah, I was gonna look it up.
Strahd's release date.
It feels like forever ago that
2016,
yeah,
March.
2016, March 2016. So, 4 years ago. A little over 4 years ago it came out. I don't think I ran it immediately though.
I think you sat on for a while.
Yeah, it was sort of so when we first started 5th edition, I was actually fairly against published campaigns. So I ran Tyranny of Dragons because I didn't know 5th edition well enough to be comfortable homebrewing it. I didn't feel like I had a handle on encounter balance or, you know, all the mechanical parts of building a campaign.
Yeah.
You know, I know how to write a story. I know how to get, you know, character backgrounds tied into stuff, but I didn't know how to do encounter balance. So I started Tyranny of Dragons, but then when we finished Tyranny of Dragons, I really wanted to do homebrew, which is why we started New Cerulean Sagas. And then, if I recall correctly,
we'll get to that later.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, Curse of Strahd was after New Cerulean Sagas, right?
Yes.
It must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we finished that.
Oh, look at the pictures behind you. Are they in the order?
No. Oh, well, yeah, they are in order.
They are. Yeah. So Utopia. Funnily enough, Curse of Strahd's the one that's covered by our grid.
Oh. That's alright.
Just because it's in the corner.
The pictures are on the stream.
Yeah.
That's all nice.
But we do have the character portraits on the stream. So we've got
Bayless did those too. Alex Bayless. Check him out.
MrBayless.com.
Yeah, there you go.
MrBayless.com. It's very easy.
We've been using them for years.
Yep.
What does that tell you? This game was in 2016, and we have... Well, we did retro.
Curse of Strahd was actually our second batch of commissions from him.
Oh, okay.
Our first batch was Utopian Engine, Tomb of Horrors, Tyranny, and New Cerulean. And that was back in probably 2016. Mm-hmm. And then Curse of Strahd, Storm King's Thunder, Tomb of Annihilation, My Villains, and Magical Secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. Mr. Bayless, he's cool.
So, Curse of Strahd is a horror campaign.
Yeah.
Describe the process of us trying to start the campaign.
Okay.
And then figuring out that we needed a different group to play it the way that we wanted to play it.
Yeah,
well, I think we skipped over a big portion right before you go to all that. What's the difference between how do you approach a horror campaign rather than a normal campaign? Is there a different approach as far as DMing?
As far as DMing, I don't. So I don't think there's really like. Obviously, there's going to be differences, but in terms of like a major approach, I don't think there's really any huge sort of shift in how I need to run the game. Combat's still going to work the same, and exploration is still going to run the same.
Did the book tell you at all, like, suggest doing this to make it
yes.
more atmospheric?
Yeah, so there are suggestions at the beginning of the book, and essentially it says, I forget what the section is called, but it's like elements of horror or pillars of horror, something like that. And one of the main things is fear of the unknown. We are afraid of things we don't understand. So one of the pieces of advice they give you is never name a monster. Never tell them it's a werewolf. Tell them it's a humanoid with fur and fangs and wicked claws. And, they'll probably figure out that it's a werewolf, but there will be doubt, there will be uncertainty, and that's scary. Yeah. If you say werewolf, savvy players go, okay, it's CR whatever, it's resistant to non-silvered weapons, blah, 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 kill it with fire. But if you don't tell them what it is, then, they get, there's the possibility for fear. And then
we know you change a lot of things, like coming to a campaign like that. Maybe not initially, like when you first start prepping, you don't change a lot, but like you always add things in or change little things. Did you feel any need to like up the ante with the horror, or did you feel like you had to push that in a certain way?
I felt like I needed to up the ante, and I kind of felt like I was spinning my tires there. At a lot of points in the campaign, I felt like while we were playing the game, I felt like you guys weren't scared, you weren't nervous, you were very confident about what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it. And I wanted to up the horror, I wanted to up the uncertainty, but I actually had some trouble with it.
To be fair, I think all of us played very confident characters, so it wasn't...
I don't think so.
Iggy wasn't confident at all.
Iggy wasn't. I don't think Shushu was either. I think it was just you.
Shushu was determined to, and Shushu is Chris's character, who will be joining shortly. Shushu was determined to find his niece. So I think that gave him, like, I have more at stake. So let me put on a brave face and kind of...
I mean, I made stakes for all of you.
Yeah.
I don't know if they landed, but... But no, I just distinctly remember there are examples of how to phrase things to be spookier. And one of them that I kept going back to, and after the third or fourth time I said it, I was just like, stop saying it.
Stop saying it.
Was like the trees claw their way over the road. And, the suggestion was anthropomorphize objects, and then your players will wonder, oh, fuck, like, are the trees, like, moving? Or, if you anthropomorphize things, they get creepier because they're doing things they shouldn't.
You said something specifically about the mists every time, too. It was a very specific phrase about the mists, and we used to laugh at it, and I can't remember. That. I wonder if it's in the book.
That's funny, because, like, I don't know if that's because you are always descriptive. That was kind of the downfall of it, because, like, you always describe things...
Good.
Well, no, it's not that you're too good. You always describe things or try to describe things in different ways, which leads to us believing that it's just for flavor, and maybe the fact that you were like, it's encroaching, we just were like, oh, he's just trying to set like a tone, rather than, oh, we should be afraid that the trees might attack us.
You set the bar too high.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, I found the section. It's called Marks of Horror, and they are the unknown, foreshadowing, age, light, or the lack thereof, personification, not anthropomorphization.
Okay.
Personification, that's more accurate. And then details. Just over-describe things. And then humor. You need the occasional bit of humor to break up the fear.
We're dying.
What's really funny is there's like 2 or 3 characters in Curse of Strahd that are 100% comic relief. And you met none of them.
Oh no, really?
You met none of them.
Who was the guy that we left on the boat?
Bluto.
Was he a comic relief?
No, that's supposed to be dark as shit.
Alright, we thought he was funny.
He was evil.
He was dead.
Wait, wasn't he the guy who killed the girl in the lake?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so he kidnapped...
Alright, I'm misremembering.
Yeah, he kidnapped a Vistani girl and put her in a bag, tied her up around the bag, and threw the bag in the lake.
And we got this hook immediately.
Got the hook immediately upon entering Vallaki.
And
ignored
we
it.
Moved on.
Came back 2 weeks later and said, we should probably look for that Bluto guy. He's been missing for a while. And they just find him dead, rope hanging off the boat, pull the rope up. Oh, there's a bloated corpse in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... And you guys thought it was hilarious. And I let you, because, you know, I knew that, you know, you guys occasionally needed humor, blow off steam from all the horror.
Do you think newer players would do better with a horror campaign? Because with less experience, there's obviously less knowledge. So
it's kind of I think it's kind of a seesaw, where on the one end, if you're too new, everything's going to be scary. So
you can't appreciate it.
If you as a DM are trying to make things scary, it's like, we're already scared because we don't know how to make our characters survive. Which was a problem that
Emily had during
the
burn.
Which is exactly
I don't know how this works.
Yeah. So Emily was constantly afraid of dying because we would go into a fight. I would describe the thing, and you know, the three of you would go, "Oh, yeah, okay, let's kill it. It's got this much HP, this much AC. We'll figure it out. We'll kill it." And then Emily was just like, "I don't know what it's capable of. I don't know what I'm capable of."
That's where a lot of fear comes from. No one wants to make a bad decision.
Right. Yeah. So if you're too new, that can happen in any campaign, especially a campaign that's horrifying. I think Avernus is
darker tone. Yeah.
Darker tone. It's a little bit more horrifying than your standard fantasy fare.
Yeah. But it's not as.
Yeah, it's not as horror themed as Curse of Strahd. Mm-hmm. But then if you get too experienced, like you guys, I don't think you guys were too experienced, but I think you were sort of on your way there. Because keep in mind, this was 2017, I think we started playing this.
So how many campaigns in 5e did we have?
This would have been your third. So it's not like you were super experienced. You know, 5e had only been out 2 years. So I think you guys were at a comfortable middle point where you were aware of your capabilities, you were aware of the capabilities of enemies, but there was still gaps in your information where I could slip the unknown in.
Yeah.
But a highly competent, you know, perma DM playing Curse of Strahd would never be afraid.
No.
Because they know everything. You know, you know every monster in and out, you know every stat block, you know how the game works. Unless the DM is literally homebrewing things, in which case, you know, now you don't know things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys were in the middle of that seesaw, so it wasn't tipping too far to one way.
All right, sorry, I kind of cut your question off, Steph.
Yeah,
go back to what you had.
No. So we actually started Curse of Strahd with a completely different group than the one we finished with, and that was after one session we decided this is horror.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a completely different group, but there was a
group dynamic changed hugely because of
we had a bit of a false start. So anyone who's familiar with Curse of Strahd knows that in the beginning of the book it recommends running I believe it's Appendix A. Is it Appendix A? Appendix B, sorry.
Death House.
Appendix B, Death House. So if your characters are still level 1, you can run Death House to get them to level 3. And it's honestly one of my favorite adventures. It's a 2-level adventure designed for level 1 characters. They hit level 2 like halfway through it.
It's a really cool.
It's really well designed. It's horror themed. It's a haunted house. Yeah, it's essentially a haunted house.
Really fucking dangerous haunted house.
Right, and it's also like surprisingly deadly.
Yeah.
But when we started Curse of Strahd, it was Steph, Luke, Mike, and AJ. Different AJ, not the one we have on our stream. Actually, Luke's brother.
Oh my god, you said his name.
Yeah.
What?
No, like just giving identity away.
Okay. So we started with that group of 4, and those of you who are familiar with Mike from our Dungeons and Mad Mage stream know that Mike is that hyper competent player. He's not afraid of anything. So the horror was lost on him. Absolutely lost on him. And then AJ was a bit of a murder hobo.
A bit.
AJ was a murder hobo. So he also was not afraid of anything because he just wanted the game to keep moving. He didn't care if his character died. He just wanted to see what would happen. Yeah. So the horror was completely lost on him too. So after we finished Death House, I think we had like 1 session after Death House. Because I remember you guys being in the church.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you being in the church, and their exit was literally Strahd charmed them, and they followed Strahd off into the mist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have brought them back in some fucking weird capacity.
I thought about it, but then, you know, shortly thereafter...
That also seems mean.
Shortly thereafter, we also started Storm King's Thunder with those same characters that they had made.
Right.
So they were playing their Tabaxi characters, which incidentally totally trivialized the first level of the Death House because their climb speed. They just climbed up to the balcony and went right into the nursery instead of going in the front door.
Yeah.
Which, like, even if you didn't have a climb speed, grappling hook, throw it up to the railing, climb yourself up. Like, anyone could have done it.
That was Anders' thing.
That was Anders' thing. Ander had a lot of grappling hooks. Ander lost a lot of grappling hooks.
Yeah, that's why Pigment was so good.
Yeah. Grappling hooks and crowbars. I remember making a lot of those at Marvelous Pigments.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help that there's a lot of traps in TOA, in the Tomb of the Nine Gods, that just eat metal.
Stay on topic.
Yeah.
Stay on topic. So because the horror was completely lost on them, we had a conversation like, guys, this isn't the campaign for you. We didn't want to say you're not taking it seriously. And I don't think that was necessarily the problem, but that's how it felt to me as a DM. It felt like they weren't taking it seriously. But the problem was they literally couldn't. Because of their play style, they couldn't take it seriously because when a ghost shows up, they're like, oh, okay, it's going to possess people, and then we can force it out with protection from evil and good, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
There's no horror with a ghost if you know exactly how they work statistically.
So mood and tone are really important for you as a DM.
Yeah, absolutely. But not only mood and tone of the campaign, but also my ability... My ability to convey that tone and the table's reception to that tone.
Right. Oh, how the fuck are they reacting?
Yeah, honestly, I could play, I don't know if I want to do it for a long time. I could play slapstick. I could play horror. I could play high fantasy. I could play low fantasy. Mm-hmm. But the players have to be receptive. If the players aren't receptive to the tone that I'm building, it feels bad. Yeah. Because there's a disconnect. I'm
telling a story.
Right, like I'm in
we are.
Right.
We're telling a story, sorry.
We're telling a story, but we're telling two different stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, and those stories don't go together.
Like me and Luke sitting in the theater of Midsummer.
Laughing.
That's actually a really
honestly,
good example.
That's actually a
there
really
were a
good
lot
example.
of people. There were a lot of people laughing, not just us.
It was two. It was two other people other than us laughing in the theaters. But yeah, no, it feels bad. Imagine if the directors
imagine the screenwriter was just sitting there like, what the fuck?
Oh, off topic, Steph, did you see Invisible Man?
No.
Yeah, watch that. It's good.
Fuck, is that like in theaters? I haven't even heard of it.
Oh.
Alright.
Look it up.
Okay. Shit. From my perspective, after the first two sessions, I was like, shit, horror is my favorite genre. I don't want this ruined.
Yeah.
So from you want the table receptive, you want everyone to tell a story. I was just like, fuck, guys, I just want to be scared a little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's a little different. I like to get not that I like to. I feel like it's based on the campaign. I kind of get lost. Out of game, we already talked about this before, but I try to create the strong character with a unique idea and all that, and I make the character, and it's all built up and everything. But once we're in game, I like to get lost and not focus so much on the character as a player, but as the character just gets lost in the story. Yeah. So as long as the story is inclusive and you don't feel like you're the wet blanket or anything, then you can enjoy it.
Are you a more I'm along for the ride, let's see where this goes, or do you want active agency in the stories as a player?
I'm along for the ride until I know how the ride is going. As soon as I know how the ride is progressing,
Direct.
then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll grab the wheel. I can drive a little bit because I know how we're driving.
Yeah.
I know the pace we're setting.
I'm not the best at directing as a player. I don't know what direction I want to go in. Even when I think I know the story, but no, it depends on the group dynamic. If I'm in a group of people where no one's really taking direction, I will.
Yeah, in the Icefire Peak sessions where Sean wasn't there, you were very much, or when Luke wasn't there, you were very much in charge.
fucking domineering man.
Yeah, Luke, get out of her way.
Strong, independent woman. Yeah.
Strong, independent woman with the lowest voice in the room. No, I meant me.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember the mic couldn't pick my voice up for the longest time?
Oh god, that was such a problem.
When we first started streaming, no one could hear Luke on the mic. If you watch any of our earlier stuff, they're like, the fuck is Luke saying? Yeah. No one can hear Luke.
We eventually got it. We eventually got him to talk a little bit louder, and we also moved the mic so it'd be closer to him. And
yeah.
But you are a lot better about that. You do project much better.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, after they left, we added Chris. I honestly can't remember how we introduced his character. I think he just like walked in out of the mists, and you guys were like,
Barovia, anyone can come in, or they just can't leave.
Right. And he literally just walked in out of the mists at the church.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, we have problems. You're here too, so your problems too. So let's go.
Yeah. And then I think it was like, I think we met Strahd not too long after that, which like kind of gave us a sense of togetherness. Oh, there you go.
Hey, Chris has joined. Chris has joined.
He's suddenly black.
Hi.
Hello. You have a lot of backlight.
Sorry for the backlight.
This is Chris, everybody.
Say hi, Chris.
We used to play a lot of campaigns with him, and then Fuckhead moved.
Fuckhead. Although we play online now, so why don't we play with Chris?
Because online D&D is the worst.
That's true. But also, we haven't started a campaign since we've been relegated to online.
Yeah. Sorry, you get to see my laptop now. As I try and eliminate.
I'm trying to make out what your t-shirt says.
Some kind of work t-shirt. I'm sure it says Amazon is great or something.
While he's adjusting his shit, give us some really, like, a broad arc of what you're supposed to accomplish in Curse of Strahd. And then we'll go into how we did it.
Okay. So there's really 5 major story beats. The first major story, well, I guess 4, sort of. I don't know. There's some story beats. The first major story beat is being sucked into Barovia and not knowing what in the hell. You don't know when you're in Barovia. You don't know where you are. You don't even necessarily know who these people you're with are. You just know you're here, and over the course of the campaign, you'll find out that you can't leave unless ... Then you get your fortune told by one of the Vistani, which, as written, is supposed to be either Madame Ava or Esmeralda. Because they're both Vistani with the sight.
Oh, Esmeralda could tell us? That's really
Yes, cool. Esmeralda has the sight.
I completely forgot about Esmeralda until you said her name. She was kind of a major thing in ours.
She was your fated ally.
Yeah.
Although, mechanically, the fated ally is fucking worthless.
Really?
Yeah, like... The thing that the fated ally gets is they can bonus action help you only against Strahd. That's their mechanical benefit. They get a bonus action help.
That is underwhelming.
It's a bonus action 60-foot help, but still, who gives a? I can get a familiar and do it.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is Chris joined the stream as we were talking about him joining the campaign. That is kind of funny.
It's all planned.
It was all planned.
Oh, I can't see the chat.
Just open twitch.tv/the Gilded Troll, and then you can see chat.
I tried that, and bandwidth didn't like it.
Oh
shit! All right. I was gonna say, like, yeah, it's kind of hard to read if you're like watching the actual screen, but if you just logged on, you won't see it on the side either.
So you meet a Vistana who gives you a fortune, and then that fortune tells you 5 things. It tells you the location of 3 important items, the location of your fated ally, and the location in Ravenloft where you can face Strahd. It's a guaranteed location. This is a 100% spawn location for Strahd.
This is the only card.
Well, like other than that location, you can meet him anywhere at the DM's wishes. But if you go to that place, the first time you go to that place in the castle, he will be there. Or so the book says. As written. If the DM's actually running it the way the book says to run it. So then you spend a while making your way through Barovia, trying not to attract the attention of Strahd, trying not to attract too much of his attention so that he murders you. while you collect these items of power. And then once you feel powerful enough, which is usually once you've collected all the items and met your fated ally, you take the fight to Strahd, you go to the castle, you fight him, he dies. That's the arc that the book has presented. It's a perfectly fine arc. I don't hate it. It's certainly fun to do. It's certainly fun to play through it as a player, especially if, halfway through getting slightly more powerful, you fight Strahd and actually best him, but he gets away. Which, if you'll recall, you guys actually did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really early on.
No, it was fairly late. It was after the Amber Temple, which is a pretty late game area.
I feel like besting him is one way of putting that. I felt like we were on the back foot for a lot of that fight.
I'm wondering if we're all talking about the same fight. So the fight that I'm referring to was on your way back to Krezk after going to the Amber Temple. You crossed a bridge, and he sent a pack of wolves at you. So you're on the bridge, and he sent wolves at you from either side.
Was there winds or something like that too? Gusts going both ways or something like that?
There were gusts of wind.
Yeah, that's the fight I'm talking about.
And then Strahd was hovering over it all, riding his nightmare. And he fled once you killed all of his wolves and bloodied him.
Did we actually bloody him? I don't remember doing that well in that fight. I remember that.
So the reason you did so well in that fight was just prior to that fight, you realized that the group had no AoE, so you picked up combustion.
I was a mystic. We'll talk about how bad that was later.
It's fireball. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fireball.
It's fireball. It's a con save. It's a con save fireball with prone, I think.
Con save? That sucks.
I mean, fireball's a dex save, which is a strong save.
I think con is stronger.
So con is technically considered... No, con is one of the strong saves. It's con, dex, whiz. Yeah. Con is a strong save. Dex is a strong save. But I think in terms of monsters, more monsters have con saves.
Yeah.
Like big, bulky... There's a lot of big, bulky monsters, and they have a high con mod.
Yeah.
Con save proficiencies are just not common.
Yeah.
What's really interesting hearing you talk about that, Ian, is like from a player perspective, I thought he was just leaving the fight after we killed his wolves. And I thought we were doing really poorly that fight. Like I didn't come out of it thinking that we had bested Strahd in any sense of the word.
It's very possible that I deliberately made you feel that way. It's very possible that I did that.
This is overwhelming.
Maybe I had him taunt you as he was leaving, despite the fact that he was fleeing for his life.
I mean, that sounds like an Ian thing to do.
It sounds like a Strahd thing to do, let's be real.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Like, I'm fucked. You guys suck. Bye.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking the first time we encountered Strahd.
The first time you encountered Strahd was at the church in the village of Barovia. And he essentially just sent a bunch of bats into the church. It was like 5 swarms of bats.
No, I remember heading to the castle or something. Doesn't matter.
You're not thinking of the speedrun, are you?
I hope not.
You did go to the castle twice. I do remember that.
We speedran Curse of Strahd. It's on YouTube. Check it out. It's a fucking shit show because Mike played a wizard that had clones and a demi-plane.
Simulacra. He did also have clones.
Go watch it. How many hours was that one? Like 8?
Like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Wasn't as bad as our Tyranny 13-hour speedrun.
What else do you have better to do during quarantine? Watch an 8-hour speedrun. It's great.
How did you deal with Simulacrum? Did he just win?
He agreed to not just win.
Okay.
So anytime he summoned a bunch of Simulacra, he used the Tome of the Stilled Tongue to give himself an extra 9th level spell slot. Or rather, to give a Simulacrum an extra 9th level spell, so they were able to wish sim each other, so they still had a 9th level spell slot. So in theory, he could have had an infinite army of Simulacra who all just pop out and meteor swarm everything, but he agreed not to do that, so that the game could actually happen.
Yeah.
So instead what they would do is they would pop out and just buff the shit out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of them turn evil?
The Simulacra? No.
Because you could have done that.
I could have done that. I didn't done that.
Speed run.
It was a speed run, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have time for character growth or any like no. It was just get through the campaign and finish.
Speed runs are not for backstory. They're not for no. Play the game, murder the things because you're level 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else in? Well, you were going over the basic arc, so you have your fated ally or whatever.
Yep.
They help you defeat Strahd. You go home.
Yep.
Everything else is optional.
Pretty much. Well, so in terms of optionality, technically the fated ally and the items are all optional.
Yeah.
You don't absolutely need any of them. The Holy Symbol of Ravenkind, if you can use it, is really useful, but none of you were clerics or paladins, so you couldn't use it.
Being a paladin for Curse of Strahd just seems really cliche.
I feel like I should have been able to use a holy symbol.
Probably. Let's be real. So Chris's character, Shushu, was a bard, but he was a homebrew bard subclass that is essentially a cleric. It was the College of Worship.
That was homebrew.
It actually has the homebrew channel divinity, so it gets two things that it can do with its bardic inspiration dice. Where the thing that it can do with its bardic inspiration dice was actually kind of done in a later UA class. Where you move the players around, like that was
okay. I think that's
you rolled the dice and then you shuffled the player around.
What the hell? What the hell is that? Whispers? That's not Whispers.
No, it's one of the newer subclasses. But I remember seeing it and being like, oh, yeah, that was really fun when I did that with my homebrew bard. I'm glad that made it into real world.
That's Glamour, in fact.
Jay Miller actually just said it. Glamour. Is Glamour what you're thinking
of? Yep, it is Glamour.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were College of Worship, so I probably should have let you attune to the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. I didn't.
Yeah, Ian.
Whatever. Shushu was not meant to be an optimized character in any way. He used a slingshot.
He had 8 con.
Can we talk about how unoptimized you actually were? Holy shit.
I did that on he used a slingshot. He had 8 con. He was literally an old man.
And then when you hit level 7, you got Storm Sphere and shit on everything. I remember Storm Sphere being absolutely busted.
I remember using Shatter the one time that we were in real fighting, and I was like, okay, I'll use Shatter on the enemy and maximize it at 3rd level.
Yep.
And Steph is just like, what the shit was that, Chris? You could do that this whole time? You've been useless this whole game, and you had that in your pocket?
In my defense, I'm pretty sure that was after I died saving your ass.
Yeah.
That was like, why couldn't you do that before?
So he didn't get his channel divinity until level 6. You died when you were level 5. So yes, he could not do that when you died.
Still fucking hate you. On that note, Luke, what was your character?
I played damn, I don't know if I gave him a last name. No, I did. Igman Common Shield?
Commonborn.
Commonborn. It was like super standard name.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just took it out of the book or something like that.
It
might have been
John
Common
Smith.
Shield, and then I took it to Commonborn or whatever.
That's funny.
But I played a fighter, Arcane Trickster.
Arcane Archer.
No, not Arcane Archer, yeah.
Which
not
was not a good version of it, by the way.
No, not the best subclass, but it was fun nonetheless. Some cool stuff was added in, but previous editions, the Arcane Archer was a lot more powerful.
I wish the Arcane Archer feat actually made it into 5e. It was in the 5e really playtest, but they got rid of it for the official release.
Damn.
Why don't you explain what that is, Ian?
Sure. During the 5e playtest, which was called D&D Next, they had a feat called Arcane Archer, where essentially it's a feat where the prerequisite is you can cast spells of 1st level or higher, and then you could cast a spell into an arrow, and then it essentially had the same limitations as a Glyph of Warding.
Which makes sense.
Right. So you cast it into the arrow, and then you fire that arrow, and the spell goes off. The main problem with it was that with fighters' extra attack and action surge, your wizard could take Arcane Archer, put 4 fireballs and 4 arrows, and then your fighter just fires 4 arrows of fireball, and everything dies.
But that's
Let me just do 32d6 damage to that area.
It's overpowered as shit.
It's overpowered as hell. It spends all of the wizard's resources, but action economy.
The spell slots were expended as long as the arrows existed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so wait, if you missed, it still.
I don't think that was made very clear.
You generally can't. If you're aiming an arrow at a point rather than at a target, you can't really miss.
Right, like if you're aiming the arrow at the ground instead of a creature.
Yeah.
And if you're shooting an arrow of fireball, you don't want it to sail past someone's head and go another 100 feet.
Yeah.
So you would shoot at their feet.
All the bystanders, 60 feet back, died of fireball.
Yes, you know what?
Shit!
Sorry, guys. I did my best.
God. That's cool, though. I understand why it needed to
not be a thing, it could not exist. There's no way that could exist, but it'd be cool.
Hey, Ian, how long ago was the D&D Next playtest?
Bruh, I want to say they started it in 2012, actually. There were a lot of... I actually have a bunch of the PDFs. I think the earliest one I have is December 2012, and then it went pretty much all the way up till the 5e release.
You graduated that year.
I played the 5e playtest literally
once. High school in 2012.
Fucking baby.
Fucking youngin'.
Luke's character also had the haunted background.
Haunted one.
Haunted one background.
Which is the only background in Curse of Strahd.
And he also flavored him to be addicted to shrooms, which
went nowhere fast.
No, but he really played it up in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
But that went nowhere fast.
Not really many places you can take it.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
I feel really nervous. I'm feeling haunted. Let me go find shrooms and nothing else matters. Let me go venture off somewhere to fucking find them. What do you do with that?
Yeah, I
hate to find my shroom dealer.
That's a learning experience as a player, though. Which things in the background of your character make it easier to, become a part of the story, and which ones make it harder to become a part of the story.
Right. And you're not going to know that during session 0.
I think it was a good personality or setter for what the character was supposed to incorporate. He was supposed to be someone who was defeated, someone who was depressed, someone who needed something to. He was a struggling character, someone who needed something to get further in life, and then and then throughout the campaign, he got rid of that addiction, found what he needed to do, and then made some choices, which we'll get into.
Found what he needed to do.
Made some fucking choices. Yeah, we'll get there. For anyone who watched the Curse of Strahd
Curse of Run.
Curse of Run.
This thing's almost
the Curse of Run Speed Strahd.
You will already know what the ending was because we said it 15 times.
Yeah. But we'll get there.
My character was kind of a know-nothing in terms of Curse of Strahd, and I kind of regret creating her for the campaign because she was super inappropriate. I was a Goliath barbarian who's... No, not barbarian, mystic.
Thank you.
I don't know why I keep saying barbarian. It was a UA mystic. It was total crap. There was way too much shit to remember.
You were actually... So they put out 3 mystic UAs. We started Curse of Strahd after the second Mystic UA, which went up to level 10. I was like, that's fine. The campaign will probably end by level 10-ish.
Yeah.
And then while we were playing, they released the third one that goes up to level 20. And we're like, fuck yeah, I can go to level 11.
Yeah. Whose entire thing was bodily self-perfection. And this is a great example of enhancing communication with your fucking DM because the DM gave me a hook.
Yep.
And I didn't take it because I was stubborn on my character's backstory or whatever, and then I missed a really cool opportunity to develop my character further, and I didn't take it.
So to expand on that, so at some point during the campaign, Thalia died, protecting Shushu, because of his 8 con. Thalia had like 20 hit points left. Shushu had like 10. So Thalia
spent... a vampire spawn too.
Yeah, there were vampire spawns.
Yep.
So you ran over to Shushu and healed the shit out of him because Mystics can do that.
Yep.
Fuck it.
Mystics can do
They can do anything.
They can do anything.
They can.
They can't do everything, but they can do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their action economy is kind of bad.
Yes, their action economy is disgusting.
I thought I did pretty well considering how bullshit
we
it
spent
was.
so many hours going over that fucking document, making it competent. So she runs over to heal Shushu and then gets absolutely murdered because she's on low HP and didn't do anything to remove enemies from the equation. She dies. Shushu and Iggy finish up the fight, barely. You know, they're both bleeding out, but they're barely conscious. Mm-hmm. And then while Thalia was dead, one of the mechanics, I don't remember if it's a mechanic in the book or if it's an AL function for Curse of Strahd. There's a functionality called the Dark Gifts, where the dark powers of Ravenloft offer a dead character a second chance at life. So if you accept it, you get a dark gift. You come back to full health at the start of your next turn, and then you get a sort of curse. And it was made clear that there would be a cost, but it wasn't made clear what the cost would be. So Steph reasoned that Thalia, not knowing what the cost would be, would not risk her bodily perfection. Like, what if they take my eye?
What if they take my arm?
Right. So she didn't take it. So they go and, you know, over the course of the next session or two, they raise her from the dead using magic. Because that's a thing that exists. But Thalia didn't get that dark gift, and for the rest of the campaign, I struggled to find a way to make Thalia more interesting, more impactful to the story, more tied in. And I don't think I ever got there.
No, but I didn't help.
Right.
So, depending on why you're playing, like the reasons, that the type of player you are and the reasons that you're playing, I learned that you really, like...
You need to work with your DM.
Right,
when the
to
DM
create
throws,
a cool story,
right, and when the DM throws you a bone, take it.
Take the fucking bone.
Yeah.
You can't be rigid. Like we said before, it's a collaborative story building. Even if you have your character idea, like your character can grow in a group setting. It doesn't have to.
If you, I think this is really the takeaway. It's not your character; it's our character that you're playing.
Right.
And you made Thalia your character.
Yeah.
You didn't want anyone to touch her. This is the idea I'm going with. Make it work, and I couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
You didn't want to share.
No, she's all mine. She was beautiful. She was a fucking 8'1" or
8 foot. She's 8 foot tall.
Goliath. Jesus Christ.
She's currently hovering over chat.
Yarkna had a question. Question for the players: how is it to play with a DM? With DM Ian, as he is so knowledgeable of the game, doesn't it?
And doesn't like to give up control.
I know more than him, so it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the only answer.
If Luke said that, I might believe him.
No, not since Mordenkainen and
Volos.
No, I know most of those, but mostly Mordenkainen. I don't know a lot of it.
It's not. So based on what we just said and what we just described as this is a collaborative thing, blah blah blah. It's never really giving up control. We're all contributing.
Yeah.
And if someone has a problem with not having enough agency, we approach him and tell him.
So in terms of Thalia, I think the issue comes back to the improv mantra of yes and. I told you a thing and you said no but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A perfect example of the DM having a lot of control of a situation, and you thinking just because the DM is the DM and he sets the stage and gives you the setting and the reasons your characters are doing certain things doesn't mean that the players don't have pathways of changing the story. Like if you watch our Avernus playthrough, we decided to do a Soul Train heist. That
Soul
wasn't
Train.
a thing. The DM had to prepare that like right after the session was complete and figure out how that's gonna go, and like we changed the direction of the campaign.
Yeah.
Because you decided, no, we need to get more soul coins now.
Yeah.
And I think me, Luke, and Chris too, I've been in more campaigns than like the majority of people. I have never once felt that I didn't have agency or control.
Oh yeah, and I haven't played on stream with the Gilded Troll, so you guys don't know my play style, but I'll just do stuff, and Ian has to deal with it.
Speaking of which, Shushu's entire shtick was, I need to find my niece. My niece is in Barovia, I need to find her, and Chris
he didn't even know if she was in Barovia. He was was plane hopping, looking for his niece. He happened to be in Barovia.
Okay.
He had been searching for years, and he found his niece in Barovia.
So you just make your own shit, and it's gonna happen whether or not you like it, man.
I didn't even expect her to be in Barovia. I was just like, yeah, Ian, this is my story. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't expect to find the daughter, but now you know my motivation. He's like, you see the daughter in Barovia, and I'm just like, Ian, you little bastard. Now I'm invested.
You fuckhead.
So what actually happened with that was this was pretty early in my DMing career. It was only 7 years into my DMing career. And I actually brought Chris in basically without a session 0. Like, he came to me with a character and I was like, yeah, okay. And then we didn't really, we didn't work together to come up with a reason he's in Barovia. And I think I reasoned, like, I don't know, Strahd just fucking brought you here. Deal with it. Because that is something Strahd can do. But then, like, he literally dropped the niece thing in the first session we were playing together. At the table. I had no preparation for this whatsoever, but as the campaign went on, I was like, you know what? Yeah, Strahd brought you here to gloat over him stealing your niece. Because he's a dick. And,
what a dick!
And that's why, you know, you found her in the castle. In his bed. That's a thing that happened.
So I just realized the three of us were like hilariously under-optimized for this, and we still somehow beat the game. How many punches did you pull?
How many punches did I pull? So the
Our
hags
were not great.
The hags.
100%
pulled that punch.
Wait, like Baba Lysaga?
No, not Baba Lysaga.
No, the hags. The three in the
Morgantha, and I don't remember her sisters' names.
The one we burned down?
The windmill you burned down, yeah. What ended up happening with that...
oh god, I started burning shit down real early in my career.
Yeah, Luke.
This doesn't deserve to exist.
So you burned down that windmill, and then I reasoned that they would just fuck off into the ethereal plane and disappear and run away. Even though, realistically, since you guys were level 4... and
Nightmare Haunting will fuck us up.
Not only that, but the 3 of them could have annihilated you. Because if I recall correctly, they're night hags, which are like CR 6 in a coven. They had lightning bolt. They had eye bite. They could have annihilated a group of level 4 characters. But you burn down the windmill, and then I was just like, I don't want this to be a TPK, so they run away. And then you guys made your way to Vallaki, and I made a half-ass attempt to have them cast Dream on you and give you nightmares and ruin your long rests. And I think I literally did that once. I did that one night.
How do you... I'm trying to figure out how to word the question. How do you know when to start pulling punches in a fight without... How much is too much when you're trying to control a fight? So
if you it's a
Teach
very
me how DM, because
it's a very fine line between so I would say there's 2 fine lines between not so you've got just the right amount of pulling punches is the fine line, and then on one side it's pulling too much, and then on the other side it's not pulling enough. So it's a very narrow area that you can pull punches, and essentially what you're looking for is make it feel like they barely won. Make it feel like, regardless of the reality, make it feel like one more miss could have been their downfall, or one more hit on the enemy's part could have been their downfall.
Now, do you go about that looking at like player resources going into the fight and say we're going to start off with a certain amount, or do you just like gradually change it as combat goes on?
I would say I do both.
You also know what all of our characters are capable of.
Usually better than you, yeah.
Well, better than me, because I'm not that great at remembering what I can. Shut the fuck up, alright? I don't need this shit. I very often forget. If I have anything more complicated than a barbarian, I will forget my abilities, but...
You had a flow chart for your barbarian.
That was our first fucking foray, okay? You can suck my dick. That was my first 5e campaign. I don't understand how you needed
a flowchart for a 5e character, but you played a 4e character.
Yeah, same. Honestly.
I don't know how you got through 4e.
I think I did fabulously at 4e.
You did, but
it's
given how well you...
things.
It is.
It is different brain things. Yeah, no, like there are times where I will go into a fight knowing that I need to pull punches. Yeah. Usually I'll pull them by just having fewer things show up. If I have that foreknowledge. But if you guys had fair warning about, what I consider fair warning, about the danger of a situation, and you still go in knowing you're low on resources, I won't pull punches. I will let you die. I've done it.
Have you TPK'd us? No.
I don't think I have TPK'd you guys.
Ever.
I've TPK'd an AL game.
That doesn't count.
Okay.
Those are just fucking one-off people anyway,
So it was a party of 3, and I hit 2 of them with Feeble Mind, and then once they were feeble-minded, I plane shifted them.
Oh. That's harsh, bro. Ow.
That's rough, buddy.
That is rough, buddy.
There's this thing in high-level AL modules where they just throw a shitload of Warlock of the Fiend at the party, because the Warlock of the Fiend stat block has 1-a-day Feeble Mind and 1-a-day Plane Shift. So you Feeble Mind someone, it's just you int save versus Feeble Mind,
Jesus.
And now that your Charisma is 1, Plane Shift, make a Charisma save.
You fail.
You fail because you have -5.
Fuck you.
And that Plane Shift just sends them away, right?
It just sends them away. They do have to make a melee spell attack. So if you're heavily armored, blah blah blah, like you do still have some defense, despite Feeble Mind. But if they land that melee spell attack, you're gone.
Yeah, base. Sorry.
Next question.
Next question. Well, there's a follow-up question in the chat. So follow-up for Ian. Does going off the story, as has been discussed, cause you some frustration? Absolutely not. Absolutely none whatsoever. At the table, sometimes I might express frustration because now I need to think instead of just doing the things that I've already thought about.
I pre-thought about this. Why am I doing this again?
Right, exactly. Like, I spent so much time, like, preparing. Like, there's some frustration about, plans being derailed. But that's probably my favorite part of D&D is the players doing something that I didn't expect. I'm trying to think of an example of it in Avernus.
Like a 9th level counterspell. It's just good times.
Yeah, sure. Was that a Critical Role reference?
It was a Critical Role reference.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm shit. I stream on the internet D&D and I don't know about Critical Role.
It's fine. There's something like 1,000 out. No, probably. Might be 1,000 hours of Critical Role.
Off topic. That's an off-topic question. You've been stopped.
Okay. Thanks, Chris Christie. No, like, players doing things that I didn't expect is, to me, the point of D&D. That is the cool thing. Like, if I go into a session and I run the session from start to finish exactly the way that I expected it to, honestly, I get a little sad.
Yeah, it's like, what? Everything went according to plan?
Yeah,
it's fucking stupid.
It's like, I didn't learn anything. I didn't, I don't know.
You like learning things?
What?
I didn't mean that to sound patronizing, but it did. I'm an asshole.
Yeah, no, I really like when you guys just go off the rails.
Yeah.
It's collaboration. You can't collaborate with the table when you're prepping because
Exactly.
then it removes the surprise and the story from it.
Right.
And then when you do get that added, you can say, oh, okay, so this is how they're feeling. So maybe I should steer the story this way a little bit. It gives you ideas and lets you think.
Yeah.
Right. So I just remembered a recent example from Avernus. So at the end of episode 16, you guys had just met with Red Ruth, and you guys were like, we have no soul coins, we need soul coins. Hey, let's follow those tracks. And you went off and you found Smiler.
Oh, to find the guy that kept peeing like while we were sleeping. That guy,
yeah.
All we heard is some fuckhead urinating while we were sleeping, and we decided to not engage. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we followed his tracks later, and I guess you didn't anticipate us doing that.
I did not anticipate you doing that. And not only did I not anticipate it, I didn't plan for it.
Yeah.
I had no idea what would happen if and when you spoke to Smiler. I just had a vague idea.
Metabooze.
I also Metabooze.
Aaron got it.
I am too.
I had a vague idea of what his personality was.
Hold down the fort.
Hold down the fort. Hi, Chris. How's it going?
Just you and me, Ian.
Share one just so this doesn't get dangerous.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Man, you fuckhead.
I don't have any alcohol, and I also don't know Twitch's policy on other inebriants while streaming. So.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I don't know what their policy is.
Whose policy?
Twitch's policy on non-alcohol inebriants.
Well, we haven't been busted yet, so cheers.
No, non-alcohol inebriants.
Oh.
I have no idea. I know that if you are, their policy on alcohol is essentially that if you're promoting reckless or dangerous drinking, that you need the mature filter on.
This is super dangerous. Real talk. We're talking about D&D.
Yeah.
Corona.
Chris, tell us about your D&D experience briefly.
Chris, what you know about
everyone.
D&D?
So I started playing in high school when I played a Githzerai druid. Was my first character.
That's a fucking build.
Wisdom. They got +6 wisdom and 3.5.
+6? What the fuck? Alright.
Okay, so
it was
3.5 though.
Did they at least have an LA?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that's why.
Anyway, played and DM'd for several years through college. Came back home to live with my family and met Steph and Ian through my brother Michael, who's no longer with us. I mean that he lives somewhere that I don't live. He's not dead.
You're also has hilarious after one Mike's harder.
He also has a child now, so he's with us less often.
Yeah.
I never see him.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Which, like, he's an adult now. That's great, but like, I don't get to hang out with him. They don't get to play D&D with him. It's a thing. So I joined Stephanie and through him in their games. Played with them for a couple years. Took a hiatus for a year or so.
Do you remember how we actually met? You came over, played my character while I was at a nursing student conference. And then I came home and Ian told me what you did with my character and I was fucking pissed.
Because you didn't know who I was. You had no idea who I was as a person.
You didn't do anything right as a character and I was very upset.
And he renamed her spirit companion.
I
and
did.
The new name stuck. Always cuddle paws.
Because I was on point with my comedy game because I was meeting new people, which is when you always have to try your hardest in social situations. It's really exhausting, right?
I hate you. And then Chris actually played in our homebrew campaign, and then transitioned. Oh no, well we had a few campaigns in between then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah.
We played Tyranny with him, and then kicked him out of the group. And then we played New Zerillion.
And then Curse of Strahd.
Yeah. But yeah, so altogether 12 to 14 years of D&D.
From 3.5 to 5e.
From 3.5 to 5e, all through 4th edition, the entire span of it, which was a trip.
Same.
Those fights, if you've ever thought a 5th edition fight takes a while, 4th edition combat was just an utter slog.
One fight
Minimum 2 hours. Minimum 2 hours.
Yeah. One fight.
Yeah.
I want to see a 4E stream. They're probably always like fucking 8 hours.
Oh my god, a speed run in 4E would take 5 days.
The goblin moves in. Wait! Immediate interrupt!
So the obese ballerina. I want the obese ballerina to come back.
Never.
Make it a 5e. Try it.
On topic. Curse of Strahd is
Hey, I'm still answering the question.
No, 3.5 to 5e. You're done.
Fine.
They said brief, Chris.
I'm brief. I don't know what you're talking. What makes you think I like to talk? Is it your several years of experience with me in D&D?
Yeah,
we won't go there.
It's that one.
Curse of Strahd is like you look at lists of best 5e campaigns.
Yep.
Curse of Strahd is
consistently ranked up there. Top 3.
What? No, I'm gonna narrow down the question.
Why?
I think a lot of that is attributed to the villain that you're fighting. The big bad is Strahd. That's about half of it. Why is Strahd such a good villain?
Strahd is a good villain because as a DM, you really actually have a lot of room to play him the way you want to. So the way he's written, he's sort of a tragic figure. All he wanted was his own youth. All he wanted was the love of his life, blah, blah, blah. And none of this is afforded to him. And now he's trapped in here the same as you. Tragic, right?
Relatable.
The way he's written is tragic. And you can certainly play him that way.
Yeah.
Or you can play him like a whiny fucking edgelord.
Petulant child.
A whiny, petulant child, which is how I essentially played him.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of different ways. Just given the history of Barovia, there's a lot of different ways that you can play Strahd. You can play him as a tragic figure. You can play him as a whiny, petulant child. You can play him as a godlike overlord who is unassailable. You could play him, there's a lot of different ways to play him, and I think that's something that's really enticing as a DM, because it allows you to decide what kind of villain you want to be.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the kind of villain you want your NPC to be.
Right.
If you want to be a whiny, petulant man-child for a minute and get away with it,
yeah,
have at it. What were you going to say, Chris?
I'm thinking about the campaign again in my head and running over it. How were we supposed to figure out what was going on with the kid in the lake? That still bothers me.
Okay, so number one, you could just go to the lake
the damn kid
when you were asked to do so, and you would find Bluto, and the kid wouldn't be dead.
That's literally how we were supposed to do it.
That's how you're supposed to do it. Alternatively,
there's a kid in the lake. Go find him.
Alternatively, if you so there is a Vistani camp outside of Vallaki that I think you guys went to, but you guys were wildly antagonistic and never talked to much of anybody. You were just dicks to them the whole time.
Yep.
The leader of that Vistani camp, his daughter is the girl who was kidnapped by Bluto.
Oh, we did know that.
So
not the time, but after the fact.
If you talk to them, they're looking for the daughter, and they ask you to also look for the daughter, and they're like, "Oh, we'll reward you," or whatever.
Someone said Joffrey.
Joffrey.
Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, I'm petulant man-child.
Yeah.
What was the absolute worst encounter?
What was the worst encounter? Worst encounter. Worst how? Most boring at the table?
Personally, as a player, and I'm just defining worst how I see fit.
How is that?
Like, freaky, and you look at it and you go, what the fuck?
Okay.
Was the flesh golem of
so that was homebrew.
girl.
So that was
homebrew?
No, it was homebrew-ish.
Stop.
It was homebrew.
That was my sister.
Yes. It was Iggy's. It looked like Iggy's sister, and it was a flesh golem.
It didn't look like her. It had her voice.
Oh.
It had his sister's voice.
You always pick the creepiest fucking things, Ian.
That's why it affected me so much. That's why it was the worst one.
So for me, worst means least interesting, lowest mood at the table.
Come say hi. Come on. There you go. Hi.
I honestly can't remember any encounters that didn't go over well. I think every encounter was engaging or difficult or interesting. I don't think there are a lot of encounters, if any, that are bad. I would say probably the worst encounter is probably the worst written one for Curse of Strahd, and I would say that's the Scarecrows in the Ruins of Berez. The book is written in such a way that it's very, very, very difficult for the players to sneak past them, even though it assumes that the players are going to try to sneak past them. It's written insanely. Like,
that's kind of dumb.
It just doesn't give you enough information. It doesn't give the DM enough information to consistently and reasonably rule what the players are doing with dice rolls. And what I essentially ended up doing was a stealth roll represents your sixth sense to realize what it is you're hiding from and what sight lines you need to be blocking as you creep through the tall grass or the corn rows or whatever.
Mystic has a fucking third eye. Use that shit.
It's not a third eye, it's a sixth sense.
Yeah, I know.
Those are two very different things. You're drunk. Go home.
Ian, don't split hairs.
Steph 6'3", like 5x2.
Yeah,
the bleach
I
is
would
damaging
say the
enough
Scarecrows
as it
and
is.
Berez. Chris, what was your worst
We
encounter?
lost Luke.
Oh, I'm trying to remember the specifics of the encounter. This game was several years ago.
It was about 3 years ago, yeah.
So I remember that there was one in the temple.
Okay.
Where he eventually ran out of the Temple of the Old Gods, and I had to shoot him with a lightning bolt through a portal.
Lightning bolt through a portal? I vaguely remember that.
I scryed on him, and then used
Yep.
lightning bolt to shoot him.
Oh, I remember that.
I do remember that.
As soon as you said cry, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
I remember that. So him in this instance was Rahadin, the Chamberlain of Strahd.
I enjoyed meeting him the first time when he was driving the carriage and I was fixing the bridge.
I remember that.
I wish I could ask Luke what his worst fight was, but he's not here. I don't know what happened to him. He must have lost internet.
He probably lost internet. Why do we have so many chats? This is probably gonna show up on stream, but.
No, me and Chris are talking back and forth.
Oh, okay. Hey, Luke's back.
I should probably look at my overclock settings. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Your fucking computer overheat again?
It's not overheating. I don't know why it's crashing. I think the voltage is too low. I need to change it.
But you undervolted it?
No, I just don't want to overvolt it. I don't want it to be drawing too much to get hot.
Right. But, like, just put it at 1.5 and call it a day.
Yeah, it's a little high.
Is it 1.5 default voltage?
No. Mine's 1.2 default, but I put it at 1.35.
Okay. I don't know. I don't overclock things. I plop them in I plop the Legos together and turn it on.
Legos.
Yeah, but you get the good Legos. I do get the good Legos.
Luke,
we tricked a rock into thinking.
On topic.
I got two. They're not the worst combat, but it's it's the worst feeling. So
you're super anime right now. I love it. Keep going.
it's funny. It's funny. We went to the vineyard and we had to fight a bunch of blights.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, there was a staff that did later, which I broke. And then in the next encounter, we had way more blights in a blight tree that spawned more blights. And the staff that I broke earlier would have killed all of those blights.
He screwed us.
So why was that the worst?
Because it was like the worst feeling, like realization. Oh, I kind of fucked up.
Oh, I broke a thing. I wonder what the consequences of that will be.
But that actually.
Oh, look here! It's the consequences of my action, rearing their ugly head again.
Right, but that kind of harkens back to yes, I will let you die.
Yeah.
You know, a DM who wanted to pull all of the punches would have been like, "Are you really sure you want to break that staff without understanding what it does?"
Wow, you're stupid DM voice.
Thanks. I didn't do that. I was just like, "You break the staff?"
Okay.
All right. It screams.
This is why we don't play with Luke anymore. Next question.
We play with him every week.
It's a joke. All right.
For those of you who didn't see our Twitter or Discord message, our Avernus stream has moved to Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So we'll be playing this coming Wednesday and Wednesdays thereafter.
Poor guy Kyle can't work on he has to work on Mondays. So we're moving to Wednesdays for Kyle. Support us on Wednesdays. Worst fight. What's your most memorable moment? Best moment, memorable moment throughout the campaign. Go. Players. Luke, Chris, answer. Oh no, we lost Luke again. Chris, answer.
God
damn it. Dying? Probably?
Oh, you did die, yeah.
He died right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was before, and I talked to Ian about this afterwards, but I actually pulled a punch myself in that I was going to have Shushu permanently die. Like, I was given the option to resurrect, and I took it, but that was because I didn't have the committing to perma-kill him.
Even though the campaign was over.
Yeah, even though the campaign was over, I didn't want my character to die.
Yeah.
Even though it would have ended his story.
Yeah.
It's like, I saved my niece, I'm good.
That end scene should have been him departing into the afterlife.
Yeah, because at that point it was already, he was howled.
Yeah, he was. So, funny story about Shushu, and I don't know if it's canon or not, but he was a little bit crazy. He was very old, and he went a little crazy. And he changed classes to the Bard. Because previously he had been a wizard of some power.
What?
And Ian, is this something that we discussed? Because I did mention a higher level wizard spell that he had known in the past, and you seemed to nod and say that you remembered it.
I might have known about this at some point. This isn't ringing any bells.
So he had previously been a max level wizard with max level wizard spells.
This is starting to sound familiar.
Yeah, like that is a thing he had been as a younger man, and then he had gone over the bend.
Right.
And then his niece disappeared, and he had to go back out and figure things out. And by that point, he had changed classes and stuff.
Right.
Which is why when he made some kind of reference, like Luke's character asked him, "What's the strongest spell you know?" And he said, "I wish I could remember." That was a direct reference to the strongest spell that he knew.
The strongest spell that any mortal can know.
Thanks, Mistra. Oh my god. I think I crashed again. What the fuck?
We're
you're still here. You're fine. Oh, there he goes.
There he goes. Jesus. He gets notice when he crashes.
That's alright, just keep talking, it's fine.
But my most memorable moment actually came in very early, and I referenced it already, and it was when I met, it was a character moment when I met the Chamberlain.
Okay.
And like the rest of the party hid because there was a black carriage rolling down the road.
And I was stood in the middle of the road.
I was being an old man and like
right.
doing some stuff. Like I think I was cleaning off some old relic or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, my character, he's not gonna hide from this. Like, and as a player, like that makes sense. Like I should hide so that we can possibly avoid the encounter. But that's not interesting. Like it's not gonna drive the story. We're gonna miss this, whatever it is. So I'll just stay in character and interact with whatever the fuck this is that's coming up, as though he's an old, cranky man who's being interrupted in what he's doing.
That's why you, me, and Luke work really well as a party. We all, when encountered with something, we all stop and we go, is that interesting?
Yeah. Is that interesting to me? Because just because something's interesting to you doesn't mean it's interesting to everyone else. So for you, black carriage coming towards you, no idea what it is. You just want to not die. You don't think it's going to be an interesting thing. But Chris saw it as stories. You know, this could be interesting. I'm going to address him. Mm-hmm. Or they're hiding in the bushes. It might be interesting if I'm here as an old man, as one person rather than a party. This could be interesting. So yeah, like, you know, each of you has a different idea of what's interesting, and you're not afraid to do a suboptimal thing to do the interesting thing.
Since Luke's not here, my most memorable moment is when I committed horrendous genocide.
That was pretty cool.
Against the
mongrel folk
who were in
the Abbey of St. Markovia.
I literally...
Because they weren't...
So Mystic...
Yeah, holy shit.
Mystic had combustion, which we frequently during the sessions called Sparky Sparky Boom Man for any of you who have ever seen Avatar. I had a third eye, it would open up. The cartoon,
Avatar The Last Airbender, not the blue cat alien movie.
Yes, sorry. I would point my fucking third eye at things and they would just blow up, and we put it, and the rationale I think was we put them all out of their misery, but it still felt like shit, and I felt that for weeks after the session. Absolute fucking weeks. Oh no, you're on your phone?
He's on his phone. What did you do to your computer?
Sorry,
you also killed the abbot of the Abbey of St. Markovia, who was the only one.
But I didn't feel bad about that.
Luke, I just...
Right, but the abbot was controlling them, so with him dead...
My most memorable moment was genocide of the mongrel folk.
We don't need to know that, Ian.
Right! Alright, so what's yours? Go.
I mean, mine is kind of like Strahd. Well, I don't know if I want to go into it. Kind of Strahd approaching me, and then like...
Yeah, this is where we can go into it.
Yeah, this is... Me and Chris know nothing, like, just fucking go into it now.
But I'm gonna go to the bathroom, I want to hear it.
Oh, alright, hold on, so Ian can fucking... He has a tiny little child bladder, it's fine. You're like, let me chug beer to fix my computer problems.
Yeah.
Steph, your hair looks awesome.
Thanks. Ian just fucking buzzed the sides because we're in quarantine and I can't get a fucking haircut.
Yeah. This quarantine is dope as fuck, guys.
Oh my god.
I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I love working from home, but I know for a lot of people they have no jobs or nothing has changed, and I'm very fortunate that I can work from home. I will just say that.
Yeah. There's the essential employees and then the Zoom employees and then the people who lost their jobs, and it's completely different experiences as to what we're all seeing, and I'm lucky enough to be in the Zoom crowd.
Sitting here silently?
Yeah. So you're doing everything from home now?
Oh yeah. Been since before the actual quarantine kicked off, because my company was the ones who run this was very cautious, and they threw us all home before.
That's good. All right, Luke, memorable moment, go.
Go.
Okay. So I don't remember when I first hinted at that I was interested in like Strahd's position and all that, but eventually he approached me and
it was at dinner. It was at,
was
we were at the dinner at Strahd's house. He invited us to come have dinner, and then Iggy, Luke's character, just went off to explore the castle. Right?
Nah. That is a thing that happened, but that's actually not when the approach. You guys might not know this, actually.
I probably don't.
So
he was invisible, and he visited him at the thingy.
No, not at all. So you guys all had dinner at Strahd's castle, and Strahd proposed a toast. Like, you were eating dinner with Strahd. You proposed a toast, and you know. He's just like, yeah, a toast to blah, 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 whatever. I don't remember what he was toasting.
Oh, yeah.
But then he telepathically communicated to Iggy, raise your water glass if you want... So I don't remember how I phrased
Stop!
it. Raise your water glass and not your wine glass.
And he did it in character.
And I handed
jealous.
each of you
That's
at
awesome.
the table we were playing at. I gave you a water glass and a wine glass. We played this while we were eating dinner.
Oh, this would have been so good to stream. We fucked up. We should have started streaming years ago.
And he telepathically communicated to Iggy, which is to say, I passed Luke an index card.
Because that's how we communicate things. Don't at us.
Raise your water glass if, and I don't remember how he phrased it, but essentially, if you want more power or you want to, something or other.
Oh, there's got to be a really cool way to say that.
Yeah, I forget what it was. And Luke raised his water glass. Everyone else raised their wine glass, and no one took any notice. And you all clinked, blah, 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 continue your dinner, finish the role playing, and then you guys...
you should have known something when Luke didn't drink.
Right?
Like alcohol.
And then you guys explored the castle, and then you guys escaped to Argynvostholt. And while you guys were sleeping at Argynvostholt, Strahd showed up on his nightmare and knocked on Iggy's window. And we had established that Iggy was the one out of the three of you who had his own room, because Thalia and Shushu were sharing a room. Mm-hmm. Iggy had his own room. Strahd knocked on his window, riding his flying nightmare, and said, "Come with me." They flew to the Amber Temple. Iggy took every dark power.
Something about...
And then Strahd just flew off.
Do you see Luke? He has like one ear. It's like I can't take him seriously.
And then Strahd just left Iggy at the Amber Temple.
There you go.
And then Iggy used one of his dark gifts to teleport, as per the teleport spell, back to Argynvostholt. And then, the next morning, you guys had gotten an 8-hour-long rest, but Iggy was interrupted for about 3 hours. And Iggy was like, "I'm gonna sleep in, guys." And no one questioned it.
Yep.
How did we not? Chris, what the fuck? How did we not?
I'm gonna sleep in, guys, is kind of a Luke thing to do.
It's a Luke thing to do. It's not a Luke's character thing to do necessarily.
So, yeah.
I think one of the gifts had to be like disguise, a hat of disguise or something like that, because
yes.
it was like we got rid of all the.
I think I homebrewed that one. I don't know if there was an actual dark gift that gave you disguise self at will. I think I might have homebrewed it. Like, yes, you can disguise self, because at that point Iggy had massive fangs. His eyeballs had melted out of his eye sockets.
If you want power eternal.
That sounds reasonable. Yeah. That sounds like a reasonable phrasing. Like, Iggy was just hideous and unmistakably undead at that point, and he had bone wings.
Yeah.
So I gave him disguise self at will, and I was just like, if you walk into someone with your bone wings, they're gonna feel the bone wings. But they're invisible, I guess.
So if I would have hugged him, I would have known.
You would have felt his bone wings, yeah. So maybe hug your companions more often.
Hug your players closely.
Yeah.
So, and how long before the end of the game was this?
Very shortly before the end of the game. So you went to...
So we didn't have much time to catch on.
There wasn't a whole lot of time to catch on. So you guys went to Castle Ravenloft to collect information. You didn't go in there planning to kill Strahd. Mm-hmm. And then you found the skull of Argynvost. Yeah. The silver dragon.
Platinum dragon?
He was a silver dragon.
Oh, here, before we get too far into this, how did you and Luke do it outside of the the actual like sessions we were having. 'Cause that's good for like players and DMs to kind of like, if that worked really well, to kind of emulate it. How did you talk about it after the fact? Did you do it?
I think it was between sessions. I think it was between sessions. We just role played a miniature session.
You actually role played though. You didn't go, Luke. It'd be really cool if you do this thing.
No, yeah. So
no.
Okay.
No, so you guys ended a session in Argynvost saying, yeah, we're gonna get a long rest. We're gonna sleep for the night. That was where the session ended. And then between sessions, I was like, okay, Luke, here's what happens. You hear a knock on your window. You wake up. There's Strahd sitting on a fucking nightmare.
Okay.
What do you do? And he's like, I guess I go climb on the nightmare. So like, we role played that whole thing. Yeah, so we did role play that whole thing. It makes it infinitely easier when you're in contact with your players by some electronic medium between sessions, if you want to do something like that. Yeah. But even during a session, if you can steal 30 seconds to scribble something onto an index card and pass it to your player, the other players are going to know something's up. They won't know what's up.
Yeah.
I have found that throwing it at a moment where there is something innocuous that they might know that other players don't, and pulling them into a different room to discuss that small thing, and then the much bigger thing is a good way of slipping it by the main group's attention.
Right. Yeah. Yarkanaut actually made a suggestion, make a note for everyone then. And I think that's actually what I did when you guys had dinner with Strahd. I think I passed everyone an index card that was basically just like Strahd I think I passed you an index card that was like Strahd telepathically says,
"Fuck you, Thalia.
Fuck you, I hate you." Yeah, something like that.
You probably did, but
I think I did actually pass everybody an index card, because you guys probably would have noticed something if I only passed Iggy an index card. I think I passed everyone an index card, so that no one would have any idea what was actually going on.
One thing that we did for the Avernus stream, I thought was actually kind of cool. You and me role played in general chat.
Yeah, well, it wasn't in general chat. It was the BGDIA discussion, but still, same thing. We role played in front of the viewers, essentially.
I think only Andy was there. It's fine.
Sean was there, and he kept interrupting, and he kept reading his messages.
Fucking Sean. But yeah, no, having a method to communicate and actually role-playing it makes it a lot better, because you're actually willing to think in the terms that your character's line of thinking.
That's, Lunario, that's not necessarily true. I have had to tell my players to look at their fucking phones and answer the messages.
I've actually recently made the move away from using Discord for notes, so that I don't have Discord open at the table.
Because it does distract them.
Yeah, like there's occasionally, like, all throughout our stream, we're saying like, yeah, join our Discord if you want to talk to us, blah blah blah, and then I'll get notifications from people joining our Discord and saying, hi guys, and I'm like, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this, so I close Discord when we play. So I don't like having Discord open because we stream.
So if you want me to know something, message me.
Yeah.
Because I actually have everything open.
Yeah, I close Discord when we stream.
I'm the half-assed producer of the Gilded Troll. Yeah. Last call. Multiple streams.
But yeah, no, I have actually texted people while at the table too, and then no one looks at their fucking phone. And I've made the rule that at the start of every session I yeet my fucking phone across the room.
What was your best moment, Ian?
What was my best moment? I thought we were on worst moments. Was it working
with Luke to make a new villain?
I thought we were on worst moments.
The coolest thing about that, though, was that it wasn't like something that he had planned or I had planned. It was something that happened.
Yeah. It was literally something...
totally lined up with what you had already created and what you've already done.
Well, here's the thing. So I had read that, every time I'm running a published campaign, I am constantly reading what other people do to it. Because I am... admittedly not the most creative person. I'm really good at adapting things, and I'm really good at taking two ideas and combining them into another one. But I am not phenomenal at just coming up with my own ideas. So I'll constantly be reading what other people are doing to a module, what how other people are modifying it, what people are adding to it. And I read that someone had a telepathic message to a player at a toast, and I also read somewhere else that someone had had the idea that one of the player characters could become Strahd's protege. And I think I just combined those two ideas. But I think what I ended up doing was I actually had all of you,
God, Luke,
via telepathic messages, I had all of you raise your water glass. I asked each and every one of you to raise a specific glass if you wanted to be Strahd's protege. But I knew that Luke would be the only one who was actually receptive to it. So I told Luke, raise the water glass if you want to be my protege. And I told Steph and Chris, raise the water glass, raise your wine glass if you're interested in being my protege. And then everyone raised their water glass. Because I knew Luke would be the only one receptive to it.
But, yeah, me and Chris would have been like, oh, yeah, like...
No.
Yeah.
Right.
That's actually kind of ingenious.
And then because all of you raised your water glass, you're like, oh, okay, no one's going for it.
That is great for, like, decision-making without anyone else knowing. That's actually really ingenious. And knowing that now makes it way better.
Yeah.
That's cool. This is why Last Call is cool. We, like, remember details, and I learned things.
I remember...
Anybody else.
I threw it in the chat, but I remember that we were doing something with the skull. Was that all per the book, or did we come up with something special for that?
The skull?
The skull of the dragon.
Oh, the skull of Argynvost. So you found the skull of Argynvost in the basement of Castle Ravenloft. As per the book, the point of that skull is that if you take Argynvost's skull and you return it to his crypt at Argynvostholt, a beacon shines above the lighthouse or whatever it is, and then non-evil creatures get +1 AC in Barovia or something like that. Some powerful but honestly underwhelming buff. And one of you took a dark gift
That was
at Amber Temple.
Me.
Was it you?
I think it was.
The resurrection one, yeah.
The resurrection, yeah, because I remember when Iggy went with Strahd, he also took it. But yeah, Shushu took the dark gift that allowed you to cast resurrection once, irrespective of how long ago they died, and you used it on Argynvost, and returned him from the dead using the skull, which is not even remotely covered by the book. Not even remotely.
Totally. I love that they gave us that option.
Right. Like that's totally something you could do given what the book says, but it does not cover it in the book at all. And essentially what I had that do was, with Argynvost returned, the Knights of the Silver Dragon were willing to help you fight Strahd, whereas as written, they have long since given the fuck up. They're not going to help. They existed to fight Strahd. They existed to protect the Amber Temple. They gave up. Their leader is broken, blah, blah, blah. But with Argynvost, the Silver Dragon, shining beacon of their order, they were emboldened to actually help you. So essentially what I had that do mechanically for you was, while you're making your way through Castle Ravenloft, there's supposed to be, quite frankly, a metric fuck ton of random encounters. Every 10 minutes, I'm supposed to roll a d20, and on an 11 or higher, you get a random encounter. There's a 50% chance every 10 minutes for you to get a random encounter in that castle. But because you had the Knights of the Silver Dragon and Argynvost attacking the castle, all of those random encounters were busy dealing with him and them instead.
That's really cool.
I remember that.
That was dumb, but I remember putting together in my head that we could do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, Hang on.
Yeah.
Did they really give us these two things together?
Yep. They gave you those two things. I will give you the power to resurrect the ancient dead. I mean, this guy's ancient and he's dead. He's a dragon.
That's gotta help, right?
Yeah.
I'm out of questions.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
There's a question in the chat.
Is there cool?
Has chat comments ever affected the game for you as the DM or player?
So the only campaigns we've streamed so far in their entirety have been Dungeon of the Mad Mage and Avertus up until this point.
And Dragon of Icespire Peak.
Which apparently got some views.
It did. It's like 30,000 views on YouTube.
Fuck. I mean, oh, cool.
Which doesn't sound like a whole lot in the grand scheme of things from fucking videos.
Oh,
that's like 8 million.
That doesn't.
That's a
That's a lot.
I just searched Dragon of Icespire Peak on YouTube, and we are number 2 after Sly Flourish. And that guy is super famous.
Oh, really?
And we have more views than him.
Get us more views so we can be big boy internet people.
Damn, I'm gonna have to watch my friend's stream.
So a lot of chat comments are either completely unrelated,
or just joking, or
the summons and the bit incentives that we do purposefully interact with the game.
Yeah, like those were designed to give viewers a way to modify the game.
So because of that, I don't think chat really has. Lunarai has done some shit that we will not talk about. Lunarai has summoned multiple things that have almost wrecked us.
If you want to know the most ridiculous thing Lunarai has done to us, watch our Tunia Dragon speedrun.
Oh my god, don't, because we got so mad by the end. We were 13 hours of playing in, and Lunarai summoned some things, and we were like, no, we're done. No, these aren't happening. Here's some fucking IOUs.
Those were only 8 dragons. Okay, Lunaria. Okay. Only 8 fucking dragons.
Chat
but
has...
as far as the chat affecting the play, I feel like it would be a little detrimental if we paid too much attention to weed through the jokes and stuff like that. And it's good to interact every now and then, but if we focus too much on the chat, like right now, when we are in person, we usually have one person moderating the chat just to show that we are still being connected and everything. But if we had every player focusing on the chat, it would be a detriment to the whole experience, I feel, for the viewers and the players alike. So
yeah, there's kind of a precarious balance we have to strike between interacting with viewers and, you know, staying present in the game. And we actually, that was actually like one of our biggest fears when we started streaming, and we started actually hitting like viewership to the point where there was chat more than like one message every 5 fucking minutes. Do you remember our first stream?
Yeah, it's like the current stream right now. There's like 15 people watching, and that's where we would sit.
No, we hit 10 viewers our first stream. That was our max viewership, our first stream, and I was ecstatic that we hit 10. Because I was like, if we hit 5, I'll be happy. And we hit 10, and I was like, wow, that's fantastic. And out of those 10 viewers, I think 2 said anything.
What's your viewer count like now?
Usually we're like 50 to 80. Probably,
that's mostly because of Reddit.
Yeah.
For any of you that don't know, I'm the one that moderates chat. I'm Roland Draldek. So if you say anything in chat, I'm the one that reads it. I'm usually the only one on chat during stream.
Yeah.
But I will kind of pick and choose what I say out loud, what's funny, what's actually game worthy. And a lot of you actually point out, it's like, oh hey, that's not how that monster works. Or hey, why didn't this happen? Or hey, you actually have a hindrance right now. Why aren't you taking that into effect? I usually try to say those out loud because
usually when it comes to summons. Because it's like, it'll be a monster I've never heard of, or I haven't prepped, or, you know, I haven't read. But occasionally, yeah, it's like, why did Blanket take any damage? He's immune to non-magical damage. Well, the Gatling gun's magical.
Right.
Because it's powered by smoke powder, which is magic.
Right. That's the majority of chat is usually pointing out our mistakes, and we're not bothered by that.
Absolutely not.
Like, try to keep us adherent to the rules. Like, it's not...
We are not Matt Mercer. We do not break the rules on purpose.
Yeah.
Rules are meant to be general guidelines that lead you to good play.
Yeah,
You
like
don't
a
have
stop
to
sign.
listen to
Yeah,
them.
no, absolutely. But there's a balance to be struck between following
It's a fine
the rules.
line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't disregard them completely.
Yeah. So the main problem with disregarding rules completely is that
Unless they have to do with bonus actions.
I hate that rule. The main problem with disregarding rules is that players rely on the rules to know what they are capable of and what their enemies are capable of. And if you disregard rules just willy-nilly, then the players no longer have any clue what they're capable of or what the monsters are capable of, and they no longer have any idea what they should do, what the optimal path forward is. So you need to adhere to the rules to a significant minimum. Like, you need to be adhering to at least 90 to 95% of the rules, and then it's that 5 to 10% that you can fuck with. And that's where I operate. But I feel like Matt Mercer pushes that a little too far and starts fucking with the rules to the point. And so maybe his players are aware of his fuckery and, they can still make decisions.
That's a result of your specifically catering to your fan base.
Yeah.
So it's cool when you do things that don't have rules.
Dude, there is a lot of hate in the Critical Role stream chat.
Oh, really?
There's a fuckload of hate. But none of the players are looking at it. The DM's not looking at it. None of them see it during the session.
Yeah, Danny just moderates.
I can't afford a moderator. Your bits go toward a moderator, okay?
I mean,
so I can actually enjoy the game.
The thing about that I like about having rules is that it's cool to have like your DM make new things for you or just say, oh yeah, you can just do this. But when you are limited by rules and you make your character powerful and interesting and cool in your own right, while adhering to rules, it's all the more fulfilling because you know that there are guidelines that you have to abide by.
Right.
And still you create something interesting.
Right.
It's rule of cool. What would be cool for this thing to happen? Does it require me breaking some of the rules? Yes, do it.
I legit was just like I'm reading chat right now and I'm like, I don't recognize that name, and they're asking if we want them to be a moderator, and then I realized it's Chris.
It's fucking Chris, man. I mean, 6 Deadly Sins doesn't sound like a username Chris would have. Let's be real.
No, but I was just like, I have not seen that name in chat before. Who the fuck is that?
It should be like I am Praetus.
Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna talk about our homebrew in a different session, and like no one's gonna watch it because everyone everyone hates listening about other people's homebrews. At least we do. But that is gonna homebrew's its own thing where it's like you had to be there to understand how cool it is. We're still gonna fucking talk about it, but like I don't expect anybody to fucking watch anything. I still don't expect anybody to watch anything. What's your biggest, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? I would have taken that hook that the DM threw at me. That's what I would do. And I would have came back
I would have been way less power gamey earlier in my career. Like.
Oh wait, are you talking in general or in terms of Curse of Strahd? Be specific.
I think they mean
he says yes, generally talking game here. Curse of Strahd, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, specify, bro.
Y'all cannot.
Yeah, that was why I answered generally rather than Curse of Strahd.
Specificity is preferable.
I wish I roleplayed more.
You never answered my question.
If we're talking generally, in terms of Curse of Strahd, I wish I would have taken the hook that the DM
have I memorized your stat block, Lunariah? No. Our session is until Wednesday. I got all weekend. I usually prep on weekends.
No personal items, please. I think he means generally, in terms of D&D.
For Curse of Strahd, the one thing that I would change is I would have had a frank conversation with Thalia, or frank conversation with Steph about why Thalia should take the gift.
We have big boy regrets about that.
Yeah.
It's alright. You live and learn, then you give loves.
Yeah, Lunariah, we unfortunately had to announce on Twitter and Discord that our next Avernus session is Wednesday. Kyle's work schedule just got fucked because of coronavirus, so we have to plan on Wednesdays from now on.
Alternatively, if you can support Kyle's salary.
Yeah, I mean, if someone can pay Kyle's salary and he can just quit his job, like, we're good for Mondays.
I'm funny.
Yeah, we're playing on Wednesdays now. No, if I had to change anything regarding D&D,
anything, like
anything,
any specific moment, what's your biggest fucking regret,
all
man?
over again, what would I do differently with D&D? In September of 2008, when I started playing D&D,
oh my god!
Instead of picking up the 4th edition, I would have bought 3.5.
Because 4E was that
4E
bad.
is fucking trash.
All right, next, Luke.
Yeah, but would we even be playing 5e right now?
Absolutely.
That I still remember transitioning from 4E to 5E, and then trying to go back ever so briefly, and just being like,
Half a
"Oh,
session.
yikes!
Yeah.
This was not as good as it was cracked up to be. Let's go back and do the other thing."
Yeah.
So, Chris, what would you do differently?
Yeah, like I said, power gamey stuff earlier on in my career. During the time that I first played with you guys, and prior to that, I was very much like a min-maxer. So
we got
and
really,
I was also
our first campaign with you were Uncle fucking Doki, and that guy was not powerful at all.
No, we got really mad at Chris and Mike Ryan. Not last name shit. Actually, your last name's so common, it doesn't even matter.
We've said their last name on stream before.
I don't care.
We got really mad at you guys for being power gamey early on, and it was not warranted. But it did make things difficult.
It was incidentally warranted, because there was an incident where we overpower gamed.
Well, no, so in Tyranny of Dragons, so we sort of touched on this earlier, that Chris and his brother Mike played with us during Tyranny of Dragons, and we kicked him out of the group. And I sort of mentioned that earlier. There were a number of reasons that we decided to stop playing with you guys, and one of them was that the two of you together were power gaming and sort of monopolizing the group's time between the two of you. But honestly, the biggest complaint was that you guys kept showing up late to sessions, and it pissed us the fuck off.
Callback here, I was late to the stream tonight.
Yes. Yes.
Join us next session where we talk about problems players have. No.
But yeah, no, like that pissed us the fuck off. And we tried to rectify it in a number of ways and it didn't work. We were just like, guys, it's not working. Goodbye. But
so
we remained friends and we started playing together again later. So it wasn't the
For
worst
those
thing.
of you who don't know, Chris married me and Ian. So
that is true. He officiated our fucking wedding.
They have pictures of me on their wall.
On the fucking wall. Luke, biggest regret.
Wait, hold up.
Are you gonna fucking show a picture of Chris officiating us? Don't you fucking dare. Stop it!
Right there. The blue right in the middle, that's Chris's back. And then the white on either side of him, that's me and Steph.
Like that tells anybody anything.
Whatever. That's our fucking wedding.
Dude, the whole wall is blue.
Shut up! No one asked you.
I was like a tungsten steel rod just smashing into you.
I'm done here. Jesus. What's your biggest fuck up, Luke?
Yeah, Luke.
My biggest fuck up.
What do you regret?
No regrets.
I mean, life choices, drinking.
Are you too ripped?
Too ripped, too many muscles.
We're sticking to D&D.
Oh, okay. Does Abaddon's strength too high?
Ian?
I don't know. I don't think I have many regrets when it comes to D&D. Maybe... I don't know, maybe maybe going to PAX earlier, or waiting to get a different idea on it? The whole convention scene didn't really pan out well.
So we went to the very first PAX Unplugged.
PAX Unplugged, guys. Yeah, Philly, PA. We went 2 years in a row. We're not going back. I'm sorry, we won't meet you.
I mean, actually, we already missed one.
If there's enough people, if there's enough Gilded Troll fans that go, we'll consider going.
I think last year there was one. I think it was
oh really?
Was it Z?
What's Z went to PAX Unplugged. Yeah, but we didn't go that year.
Yeah.
Let us know if you go to PAX Unplugged. Maybe we'll consider going.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Andy asks, how did it all end in Strahd? That's a really good question.
We didn't touch on...
We didn't actually cover that. So Iggy took all the dark deals at Strahd's behest, blah, blah, blah. So then they went to Castle Ravenloft and they decided to... They went to the place that they were fated to meet Strahd. And the final battle essentially went down as follows. They entered Strahd's tomb, which was where they were fated to find him.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was Sergei's tomb or his mother's tomb? It was one of their tombs. And Strahd said, "Now's the time." And Iggy took that as his indication to turn on his party members. So it was essentially Strahd and Iggy versus Shushu and Thalia. Mm-hmm. And Strahd essentially just took a backseat and tried to make the fight even.
He was taunting us the entire time.
He was taunting the shit out of you, but I distinctly remember...
I remember being so mad.
I distinctly remember Strahd casting Darkness to turn off your Sun Sword.
Right.
And then Shushu counterspelled it, and then Strahd counterspelled the counterspell. So Magical Darkness filled the arena.
Playing a blue deck in Magic.
Exactly. So Darkness filled this cramped tomb, which allowed Strahd and Iggy a chance to weaken the two of you without getting completely blown out. And then...
how much alcohol is in these?
It's 8% alcohol. It's about It's about 2 drinks for 1 can of hard. Babe, you've had 2 drinks in an hour and a half. Or sorry, 4 drinks in an hour and a half. Whatever.
I miss drinking with you guys.
Yeah,
same.
You guys, you need to stop living in a different state.
Drinking in the same room.
So the combat went pretty even for a while, and then eventually Strahd lost his concentration on Darkness, and he essentially said, "Strike me down," and you did with the Sun Sword. You killed Strahd, and he burst into flames, and he was gone.
And I was like, "Yeah, I did it."
Yeah,
and I dragged Shushu's body out.
No. Calm your tits.
Let me summarize
and then Iggy
briefly, you don't know
killed Shushu and drank his blood.
Oh.
And then Thalia killed Iggy.
Yeah.
Iggy had completed his ritual.
Iggy had completed his ritual by virtue of dying.
And I dragged Shushu out, and a bunch of souls were moving out of the mist, and we were like, alright, we're gonna follow them, because Barovia mists are now lifted, whatever. And then Ian describes...
6 months later.
We fucking zoom back in on the castle. Into that fucking crypt.
It's full of mirrors now.
And Iggy just rises from a coffin, and he looks in a mirror, and there's no fucking reflection there.
Cut the
End scene! And that was the most dramatic shit.
Yeah, that was a pretty good.
Oh my god, the fact that I remembered like that many details about the ending, because my memory is shit.
It's pretty shit.
Lets you know how cool it was.
Yeah,
that was easily.
It definitely sticks
memorable.
in my mind as one of my favorite games that I've ever played in.
Right, like it's top of our list because he made it really unique for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do a good job, yes.
No, you work with your fucking players.
As much as they're willing to work with me.
Ooh.
I was just really proud of that character, and I shouldn't have been, because...
That was actually kind of a dig at Kyle.
No, don't dig Kyle. He's not here to defend himself.
I know, but I messaged him earlier this week. I was like, hey, I tried to explore your Zariel heritage. Like, do you want to explore that? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't know, whatever you think is best. All right, fuck it.
Every player plays for different reasons. It's not. If he enjoys socializing and being present for the stream, then that's his play style. And there are different play styles, and that's okay. That's all right.
Everyone brings a different flavor to the table.
Right. It just turns out that the three of us all have the same goal, which makes it very
fun.
Workable. Yeah. It drives story.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, stop being fucking weird. What are you doing?
Stuff.
No, real
He's
talk.
stitching together
Real talk, if anybody goes to PAX Unplugged, if we can get enough players or enough viewers to attend PAX Unplugged this year, which I think is later in the year if all this coronavirus stuff lifts up.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's happening.
Right. We'll consider going because I would love to meet some of you guys in real life. So let us know.
What is PAX Unplugged like?
IRL.
I've never been.
So it's board games and tabletop. The first year, the concentration on D&D was pretty low, and they had a really small room, and they didn't have that many games going. The second year they did it, it grew a lot. We didn't go to the third year it was a thing, so I don't know how big it got then. Me and Ian went alone the first year. We had a lot of fun. The second year we went with Luke, and it was significantly less fun, and I don't know if Luke was a contributing factor.
It's all my fault.
I don't think Luke was a contributor. I think the reason that we had so much fun the first year was we actually met people there that we got along with really well, and our expectations were so low that meeting people we got along with and getting to play with them so frequently made it such an incredible experience. And then the second year
because we connected with people and we fucking
the second year we
fun.
went with the expectation that we would play with those same people again, the people we had met the previous year. I don't want to name names. We had fun playing with them, but because we had more experience with AL, we knew what to expect and we knew how to make the most fun out of it, but it ended up being exactly what we expected, so it did not exceed expectations. So it was fun, but it wasn't
also
better than we expected.
No, also the guy we went with DM'd for a large number of games.
He was playing. He ended up DMing a bunch of tier 1 games that we weren't in. We didn't get to play with them as much.
Because PAX Unplugged will pay you if you DM a certain number
of games. They'll cover your admission and or your hotel room, depending on how much you play. I think they covered his admission.
So yeah, convince us to go, and maybe we will. I would like to.
I think it'd be pretty cool to meet our viewers.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool.
I might be in for going to that, depending on when it is. I have a little more flexibility this year now that I'm not.
I think everybody has a little more flexibility this year.
I think it's November.
November, December-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
This session's way longer, or this
episode
stream.
Yeah, because we're at 2 hours now.
Yeah, usually we're like an hour, hour and a half. And
it's Iggy!
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's Iggy after really taking every dark gift.
I will pay to blow that up like poster size.
That's really cool. Was that a commission from somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
as shit.
dope.
Yeah.
That's how much Luke liked this campaign.
That's how much he liked this.
In addition to us commissioning his character, he also commissioned his character.
Oh, dude, his commission's way better than our commission.
Oh yeah.
No shade at Bayless, but the amount of detail in Luke's is like shit.
I think that Iggy deserves a spot on the villains as well as the players.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The villains that are right over Steph's shoulder.
I know how directions work. Oh.
We have not yet talked about any of those villains on Last Call.
We will.
We will. We'll get there. So that brings us to our next question, which is the last question of the stream, which is, What do you guys want to hear us talk about next?
Ooh.
I'll make a straw poll.
There's a few different things we could talk about. We could talk about our homebrew campaign if you're a DM and you really want to know how to homebrew something effectively.
We got bits? Oh, Jesus.
Ian, work this into the biggest encounter you can. You have discussed what it is. Lenore, thank you for the bits. I don't know what that means, but I'm scared.
The biggest encounter? Oh, God. I was afraid of this. I was afraid of that. It's happening. It's happening now. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, fuck. Alright. We can talk about the homebrew that we did. If you want to know more about how to run a homebrew or how to play in a homebrew, we'll talk about that. We can talk about Tyranny of Dragons. We can talk about Storm King's Thunder, which we absolutely hate, so, like, buckle in for that.
That's some conversation.
Ride. We can talk about Waterdeep Dragon Heist. We can talk about Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We can talk about... We have not played Out of the Abyss. We have not played Prince of the Apocalypse. So we can't talk about those two.
So what I have, from last week's poll, I have Storm King's Thunder, Dragon Heist, News Aurelian Sagas, Tyranny of Dragons, and Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
That's fine.
That's enough?
If we do Waterdeep, if we do Dragon Heist or Dungeon of the Mad Mage, we can invite back Mike and maybe Megan, if they're willing.
Alright, I posted in chat.
Dungeon of the Mad Mage is, like, you can watch all of our shit on Dungeon of the Mad Mage on YouTube.
Yep.
All that's up there. We did
all
not
43 fucking
Heist,
episodes.
So that would just be completely from
Yeah,
us.
if you guys have any other suggestions, post them in the Discord.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I put 5 options on the straw poll, but if you have another suggestion, join our Discord, check it out.
If you want us to spew about the new psionics shit, like, let us know about that.
Yeah, we actually have a last call suggestions channel on our Discord, so hop in there, at me or at Steph, just post a suggestion.
We're both home all day working, which means we, like, barely work, and we check Discord and talk to you guys a lot.
Steph,
so,
my
like,
coworker's watching a stream.
I love you. It's okay.
Where's the, Ian, where's the straw poll?
I posted it in the Twitch chat.
It's in the chat.
So yeah, maybe a UA review or something like that. We can do that.
We did talk about Icespire Peak. It's our first episode, in fact, of Last Call.
And Tomb of Annihilation is the second episode we did, so we already talked about that too.
And that's that's on our YouTube.
Tomb of Annihilation is a really fun module, although I'm getting stuck right now in the middle of the hex crawl, and I'm trying to push them to the end of that.
The hex crawl's a problem. We talked about that in our TOA stream. So check that out.
Go watch our video.
I don't blame anyone for not watching us.
I do.
Because I wouldn't. Look,
if you're on our stream, you have to watch all of it.
If you were a part of the stream, would you watch us?
Hey, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't a part of the stream.
You're cute. I'll allow it.
What?
Chris just dabbed. Can we talk about the fact
Did he
that
really?
Chris
I missed that.
Sorry, the way that Luke said that, it just needed a dab to follow it. If I wasn't on the stream, I wouldn't be me.
AJ, not Luke's brother, AJ, has taught me finger dab, and I do it way too often now. Just a small dab. Just small dab. What else could we even talk about?
I kind of want to get through not all of our campaigns, but all of the noteworthy campaigns, and then move on to, like, other topics.
No, I want to know what people want to watch.
I mean, that's fair.
Do you want us to talk about how to communicate with your DM as a player? Do you want to know how to build a better story? Do you want to know how to build a character that doesn't suck? Do you want us to break
How to build
down...
a character that doesn't suck is a really good... That's something I would watch.
I know there's an entire channel, I kind of talked about this at one point. There's an entire channel devoted to how do you build superheroes or famous characters in TV shows and fantasy things or whatever as D&D characters. I would enjoy doing that.
Dude's got 145 episodes on YouTube, though.
What guy, though? Do you know his name?
I don't know his
There's
name.
a guy on YouTube that already does it. If you want to hear us do it, I will credit that guy and we will do that.
Building Character is the name of the series.
Okay.
I've seen that. That's good.
That's something I think that Luke, Ian, and Chris would be really good at. I would suck at, but I'm here for the ride.
But my only problem with building characters, I wish that there was a document that I could read instead of watching a...
Yeah, I literally
5 to
just
6
skip
minute
through
video.
and read, like, the graphics he puts on screen. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a wild magic sorcerer, blah, blah, blah. These are the spells you pick. Got it. Yesterday, he did Scarlet Witch. I think that's neat, but, like, I don't think that's a thing that I would like to do.
We could do it for, like, a 1 or 2 time thing if people really wanted to. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I don't know if anyone said this yet, but thank you, Naraya. Thank you for the 5,000
Yes.
bits.
Thank you.
Yes.
We take your bits for granted and we shouldn't. Yeah. Most of the time when we hear that noise, it strikes fear into our hearts, and then we look at the screen.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm actually
There's
not
a summon coming!
All things D&D. I'm not familiar with that. I'll look that up.
Or if you have an idea that's completely, like, we haven't mentioned, just join our Discord. The link's down below. Like, we all read it.
Yep.
I guess I'll wrap it up. So vote. If you're watching us on Twitch, check out our YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, check out our Twitch. We're now streaming Descent to Avernus every Wednesday at 6 p.m., not Mondays.
5:30.
What?
5:30.
5:30. We're also doing this last call thing every Friday at 7. So join us for that. Thank you for an entertaining Friday evening. I love you too.
Thanks, Jordan. That really means a lot.
It does. It gives us a good excuse to, like, stream and talk to people that we can't talk to right now and talk to you guys, and it's really hard right now.
Yeah. Shit sucks.
Don't go out unless you have to.
Yeah.
Alright. Thanks for
Careful
watching,
out there,
everybody.
folks.
Yeah, please stay safe. Don't go out unless you have to. We love you. We will be back on Wednesdays.